Welcome. This is the first power pools match of the game for Brown. This is Brown 1, who are placed 9th at the moment, facing leftovers. Brown 1 are 7th, leftovers are 9th. And on the pitch we have Megan Pickles, KK, OT, Luke Wood and Zoe. Straight away leftovers have advanced up the sideline over there. OT is on the mark. They're forcing that backhand or sideline at least. High knife goes to the front of the end zone. Zoe does well to collect that in front of her match. There is a call, however. A stall out call which has not been contested. So the possession will start with whichever Brown player picks up that disc over where OT was on the far side. I'm going to step away in a moment, so you'll have to just watch what you can of this point without me, because I need to go get some layers and food. OT to Luke Wood. Luke Wood looks around. In the end, he wants to reset it to Zoe, which he manages to do. Zoe, near that sideline, probably wants to reset to Luke there, I would think. Instead, she's gone for a hammer to KK, which works well as well. KK looks up, considers, I think, throwing to Zoe, but in the end goes for a scuba that wasn't really on. I don't think OT was well marked. They make immediate yards up that far sideline. Considers the line, goal shot in the end, waits and then comes around and it goes back up that line in the end for that goal. So it starts leftovers 1, Brown 1, 0. I'll be back in a minute.
Here we go now!
Josh. Go, Josh.
There you go. Whatever happens from here. I love that ends. I'm screaming from that corner. Josh, I'm free as well.
So you wanted free, so you thought.
Which one do you want?
What's that? Sounds like you like it.
Oh, no.
You love the scuba.
Then Josh just like.
Okay, we have Zoe Davies about to pull.
Great.
Zoe, KK, Vic Cook, Sam Bruce, Dan Pritchard. Pull is and it's nice.
Or Josh, whoever it was.
Pritchard on the force. KK now. Up the line and easy goal. That makes it 2-2 the score.
We've got enough players to take the whole game.
Over on our line we have Fernley, Dan Pritchard, Meg Pickles, Oti and Vic Cook. So women's point, pull is up. We're playing an ISO by the look of it. Dan to pick up, is Vic to pull. Looking for Meg in the ISO spot. Fernley's poached, so we've got a swing to Fern, up the line to Dan. Nice big gainer. Across to Vic. And to Oti in the end zone. Absolutely beautiful play. Very smooth. In the bound. So you can take over.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. I'll get some chat while you do that.
I thought that was in your preschool.
Yeah. Discs are plate, no?
So score is 3-2. Is that to Brown, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah. 3-2 to Brown. And so, having scored that point, starting on D, we've got Oti, Sam Bruce, Josh Clark, Sam Dowell, and Luke Wood. Classic ISO play with that scuba going to the middle space, and it was there. Looked like it was going to be a completion, but just one of those drops. So Luke Wood picks up for the Brown in the middle. Straight up the line to Josh Clark, who manages to get fully around the other side of his man and turn that into a real gainer, and then uses his chance to throw clean to Oti, but unfortunately just escapes her grasp there. Sorry about the camera angle.
Sam, stay with now, track now.
Luke Wood picks up near the back of the end zone, near the front of the end zone, and puts it straight up the line. He nearly got macked on and was still available, but in fact the D managed to put it out safely. So turnover, and they start on their sideline straight with that ISO play into the middle. Good layout bid there, but not able to make it. So not been too reliable, that ISO play for them. But the Brown also not being clinical on offense, not quite. But they've definitely got it in them. Nice put there from Josh with that scuba, and then Luke Wood able to convert with putting it straight up the line to Sam Dowell. When they make those connections, Brown look very slick, very smooth, and like they could do that all day. Just need to keep that dialed in, basically. So Dan Pritchard pulls for the Brown, joined by Renhard, Pickles, KK and Zoe. Straight into a backhand match defense. They get up the line, but they aren't able to carry on, with Zoe putting in good effort defending in the deep space. Zoe lets her man have it a bit short, which is fine, but then there's a light cut there, and she doubles back, and she does manage to get it. She's been that end zone threat all point, and Zoe had been keeping up with her well, but tricky to stay on top of it on a solo, a 1v1 there in the end zone. Right, making it 4-3 to the Brown. Eating this lens a little. All right. So Brown receiving the pull. That is Megan, Sam, Bruce, Fernley, Luke Wood, who's going to declare a brick, and Vic Cook, who's over on that far line. Brown running an ISO. We've got Fernley in that middle space. But little short overhead goes instead to Sam Bruce. Sam Bruce looks at that, instead turns it into a weave movement, and Luke Wood gets it. The lateral cut in the centre, puts it straight up the line, but not for the first time that run through D. Not for the first time looked like it might have floated in and still have been catchable, and not for the first time it in fact went out. I don't know whether you call that a great effort. She very, very nearly got that layout there. Didn't quite. And I thought Brucey was scored. And I don't think I was the only one. There was a great cut straight up the line. There has been a call. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's an injury or substitution. So what happened there is Fernley put that up the line for Sam Bruce to chase with that really nice quick turnover, taking advantage of that. Their defence very, very nearly got there, but didn't quite, and I thought Sam Bruce was going to bring it down, but actually just escaped her, and there's a turnover at the back. Meanwhile, further up the pitch, the player at number 11 for their team, who had laid out a moment previously, has gone off injured, so there's a swap. Another turnover while I've been speaking, and Luke Wood picks up in the middle of the field. He's looking for Fernley in that middle space. Fernley now got it very much in the centre of the park. Has a look up, swings it to Sam Bruce. Sam Bruce has Vic Cook in the end zone, but she's well marked, so instead looks across. Luke Wood with a safety cut there. Gives it to Fernley, who keeps it in and straight up the line to Vic. And Vic's hands don't fail her, and she puts it away for 5-3 to the Brown. Newcastle Brown 1-5. Leftovers 3. Says best not inhaled. That's why I'm going wrong. Well, over with the ball. Brown still have to keep their foot on the gas here. 5-3. It's a close game. They are pulling ahead, but there isn't much in it. Keeping defensive pressure on this ISO weave type shape, and KK comes to mop up a slightly loose pass in the midfield. KK resets to the centre of the pitch. Sam Dow waiting for him. Dow back to KK and goes straight over the line, but he's marked out and doesn't go for it. Instead, it's centred to Sam Dow and across to Sam Bruce. Bruce looks up. Everyone's up downfield for her, and Zoe comes out for that option and gets it. Zoe bangs a zippy little pass to Sam Dow, which, although contested and even flying through OT's outstretched fingers, makes it to Sam Dow, and the Brown put away their 7th point of the game. 6th? 7th. Did I just say that went 5-3 to 6-3?
Yeah.
Okay. It's now 6-3.
You got the producer in the ear.
Yeah. There's someone in my ear. Someone in my ear telling us.
That thing from Chris Clark.
I don't know, Jeff.
I don't know, Jeff, has there? I saw him going off. I just thought he was getting some.
When we start, I know, it's here.
If you're just joining us, it is Newcastle Brown 1-6 and leftovers 3 in this power pools game. And Luke Wood with a slightly short pull. It's not going to be bricked. And they're straight into the game. They're still running this ISO, which the Brown have done well to make difficult for them. Shut it down. Point block from Luke Wood, but it's picked up with a good effort there, and they keep possession. On this sideline now, Luke's got to make amends for that. Oh, Luke! Oh, I'm so sorry to the people there, but the camera wasn't quite on. Luke Wood getting to that disc, getting it again. Vindication after he already got a point block, which didn't quite come off. He manages to give it to Dan Pritchard, who toes it in. Dan Pritchard's up the line, and a very low release little disc to Josh Clark, who was unmarked. I think Josh Clark's match had thought that was being forced out, but Dan managing to pivot right past that.
Second goal of the match, Josh Clark has scored by just standing in the corner.
Yep.
Hey, if it worked, it worked.
Sometimes you got to stand still.
So yeah, I mean, I apologise to everyone at home. I think the camera did not catch Luke Wood's fantastic D moments after he got the point block that wasn't.
It's not 18 minutes, so you can't do that. I'm sorry.
Rachel!
Oh, we do have fun.
If you can hear some obscenities in the background, I apologise. They're just strangers going past. We can't do much about members of the public. So KK pulls. We've also got Fernley, Zoe, Sam Dow and Oti on the line. It's a fantastic pull from Fernley. And they start right in their end zone. Again, looking for that ISO play. KK lets him have it under. They don't mind that too much. He wants to reset it. So he lets it happen, but only behind. That's good. And then again with that pressure, forcing them to hit those narrow little margins, those vanishing angles, and it's zipped past the intended receiver, and it's going to be a turnover with KK to pick up near our own end zone. Squares it to Fernley. Fernley looks up. Not quite the right synchronisation on his downfield options, but a little bit of joy, and Sam is there to grab it and puts it straight up the line to Oti. Ola Tenny, who puts it away to give Brown their 8th point of the game. Let's go with 8. I'm afraid the scoreboard's quite faded. Yeah, so really nice play there. There was a little bit at the back where it looked like that handler movement, that weave wasn't quite timed right, wasn't quite going to come off, but then the right option came through. With KK making that lateral cut, the throw to KK wasn't fantastic, I think, and it looked like it was going to be a turnover, but happily Sam Dow was right behind. Okay, Sam Dow says it was to him. It escapes KK, so narrated as it happened on KK's face, it was to KK and everything was lost. As it happened, it went to Sam Dow and he put it up the line to Oti. And now the next point is well underway, and they moved it up that sideline and now reset it in the middle with Meg putting on a strong force. She's getting there. Look at her, she's rapid, speed of 1,000 gazelles. Not quite enough to get that interception there. Hammer over to the back corner, but Dan Pritchard's there. Yeah, no dramas. Dan Pritchard there, turning on the swagger button. He always does that after he does a good catch or something. And he puts it straight to Sam Dow. Sorry, it doesn't. Sam Bruce receives. Dan Renard and Meg have a little conversation while cutting about who's going to catch it. In the end, Meg wins out. We all knew that would happen. Meg tries to swing, but a little point block interception there doesn't quite make its intended target of Vic Cook, and so it's a turnover. Dan Pritchard putting a force straight on. There is one target in the end zone, but it's not gone that way. Little push pass right into the centre, and they manage to reset. There's still that danger, still that end zone option, but they're Vic Cook working hard there to make sure that it's not looking appealing for them, and instead it's reset. A little throw right to the other side, and they do manage to squeeze it up the line there to get their 4th point of the game. 8-4.
Brown's point streak has come to an end, sadly, but it's all right.
I'm wearing. I really don't need it. I'm way too hot.
It's part of the look now. It is part of the look. You just need to keep it on for the rest of the day.
Just so if I ever watch it back, I can see if I'm.
Yeah, that seems a bit better, I think, on the contrast and stuff.
I don't know why I don't like it.
You wear bright socks. That's what you need.
Let's do runs like this.
Okay, so here to contest the 13th point of this match, receiving and starting on O is Luke Wood, Zoe Davis, Sam Bruce, Oti, and Josh Clark.
Honestly, it's like it's different to Sterling, but it's just
Pull goes up. It's a good pull. It's going to land in the end zone, and Josh Clark collects.
it's more like a
Oh, looked like it was going to go straight to Zoe, but actually just not quite the right side of her, and there's a turnover. Immediate look there, but she's so free. She ended up not sure what happened there. It looked like that option was well covered off, but little missing communication for the Brown, little missing timing, and it ended up open. So Brown can see the 2nd point in a row, still have a lead of 3 with the score being 8-5. Meg Pickles, Dan Pritchard, KK, Sam Dowell and Vic Cook all looking to get Brown back on their scoring streak with this 0 point. Leftovers here, some sort of thematic connection with their kit, which looks to be a sort of a charity shop mismatch. That is a little bit short and cool as a KK cucumber. It's bricked and brought to the centre. KK, a look around, immediate scuba there to Meg, who does get it. I wouldn't call it the safe option, but it did get there. Meg back to KK and then makes the cut, but it doesn't come back. Instead, he looks at Vic Cook, but then looks that off. It's going to go, I thought it was going to go to Pritchard, but actually it's gone to Meg. Meg's done very well to collect that, and she is just outside the end zone there. there is a call because there was a disc on field, and so the downfield players stopped. That's correctly called from Meg, just to say no, we need to reset that to 0. Little sticky fingers there from Dan Pritchard, shooting out a hand behind him as he was running along and gathering that for a goal. And that is the Browns' 9th goal, bringing the score to 9-5.
What are they just said?
Dan's sticky fingers. You alright? You happy with that? Okay, that's good.
Coming by surprise.
So if you're just joining us, the score is 9-5 in favour of Brown 1. And I'm sorry to have missed that expression on Vic's face there as she was looking at them and telling them it's a women's point. Oh, there seems to be some discussion about it though. So let's forget the frisbee and let's all talk about whether it's men or women. It seems from our own sideline that the Brown was mistaken, and embarrassingly, after having pulled a face that I could only describe, well, I don't know, diagrammatically, Vic Cook has to come off and make way for a third man. And with a pull from Luke Wood, who is a man, we get underway. Hammer into that middle space, does make it, even though there was a double mark there. Pritchard and Luke bracketing that receiver, but it did get through. And leftovers moving it around at the back. Time-wise, they're 30-minute games, and I'm pretty sure I started on the dot. So 21 and a half minutes in, there's about 8.5 minutes left to go. Leftovers are moving it up the field, but that's not surprising because the defence stopped a few seconds ago thanks to a pick. There's an interesting level of discussion. I think just trying to decide which throw was first affected by that pick. It seems it was the previous throw, so it's gone back into the middle of the field to Luke Wood's match.
How long was that?
Roughly 7 to 8, yeah. Some options in the end zone, very dangerous now for Brown this point, but they forced them back, some good defence. Luke's man makes a cut out of the end zone, he doesn't mind that too much, but then he manages to pop it along for that line cut to make the score, what was it, 9-6? I believe should be 9-6. Yeah, just being changed now. So, on this line, we have playing pickles, Josh Clark, KK, Sam Bruce, and Vic Cook. The pull is good and received, or it might have been breakable, but it was right at the front of the end zone, and Vic Cook decides to collect quite sensibly. She hammers it to Meg, who does manage to collect and keep possession. A little bit nerve-wracking, that one, but Meg quickly resets the little pop to Josh Clark, who puts it over with a scuba to Vic Cook. So Vic Cook swings it to KK and back to Sam Bruce, and now Brown have found a little bit more of a flow, some more reassuring passes, and of course commentator's curse, I apologise for that. Sam Bruce giving it there up the line. I think it was Josh Clark was the target, was it? But it was too low and it's hit the ground. So leftovers pick up at the front of their end zone. Vic Cook marking, but it goes straight to the ISO with just a flat back flick, and to KK's match. They reset into the middle and try and work up the line, but Sam Bruce is wise to that. But on the far side, Vic Cook's match has managed to gather it just the front of the end zone. She really wanted that hammer. She could see the cogs turning for a while, and indeed it did go because it wasn't marked. And little blade right to the squat catch, the front of the end zone, to make it the seventh point scored for leftovers, and the score now 9-7 in favour of the Brown. In favour of the Brown, but their lead of 4 has been slightly eroded. They need to get back on the gas. With roughly 5 minutes left on the clock, it really is still all to play for. There are nothing has been decided yet, and contesting this point. Starting on offense, we have Zoe Davis, Luke Wood, Sam Bruce, Ola Tenney, and Fernley Everson, who has the disc now. Fernley looks upfield and gives it to Sam Bruce with the underflick. This weavy ISO play is what Brown have been running so far, and Bruce manages to reset it to Luke, who immediately gives it to Fernley. Nice stuff with a lovely little IO backhand there from Fernley to Ola Tenney, who gains some yards and then immediately gives a little up the line backhand throw to Sam Bruce. Really nice, nothing too extravagant, nothing over the head with that, just passes through with nice flow and giving Brown their 10th point of the game. So 17 points played and the score is 10-7.
I'm overestimating how much I give them. I think I checked my phone.
One of the great thinkers of our time, Dan Renhard. Yeah, exactly. He's got a... I was going to say a chin that needs stroking, but I think I need to stop now. Brown on defense at this point, and straight away they've been doing well so far. Brown enforcing that ISO when it goes to be an underpass, but on this occasion they managed to get the other side of him and gain some yards. They reset into the middle. Josh Clark putting a force on the far sideline. A little bit chaotic in the middle, which is good. That's what Brown want, make it hard for them. And in the end, a high and floated disc goes up, but I think there's been a call on that one. Looks like they both got to the disc, both contested it, and I think it's been retracted. Good spirit there to retract that. It was certainly just both players going for the disc. Didn't look like she had it under control, so I think the right call was made there. Dan Pritchard picks up. They're still running this 2-on-2 and turning that weave opportunity straight to Megan into a few yards. Megan squares it to Dan Pritchard, who gives it across to Vic Cook, but it's just beyond her grasp, and the Brown turnover for the first time this point. It's going to come in probably 7 or 8 yards from the cone, I would have thought. Yeah, close enough. Sure, 4 yards. Both sides running a similar sort of structure with that kind of ISO look. Josh Clark saw that one. It was a bit telegraphed and it was a bit far away. It wasn't tight, wasn't fast. And Josh Clark with the run through D there to turn over and give Brown possession again in the middle of the field. Dan Pritchard swings it to an unmarked Sam Dowell on the far sideline. Sam looks up, he tosses his hand in the air at the lack of options, and now does a little bit of ballet to try and make himself a gap to throw, which he does to Josh Clark. Josh Clark considers resetting to Meg, but I think she's invisible for the time being, and instead gives it across to Sam. And for the second time this point, Vic Cook is given a little bit too much to do with the throw, and there's a turnover at the front of the end zone. High disc there, and again well contested. Meg getting to that disc, and she's briefly considered whether she might have found someone, but she seemed happy enough when she had just got to the disc. Really nice IO there from Clark, from Pritchard to Clark, and back to Pritchard, of course. Just bouncing back and forth, flicking left to right like a fish, and slippery like a fish. He slips his match and gets the goal, and that is 11-7 to Brown 1. Oh, Brown 1, already pulled it. Oh, I was trying to stretch. Dan Renhard, Ola Tenney, Zoe Davis, KK and Luke Wood on the line here. There's an immediate give there that I think maybe I wasn't the only one caught off guard by the start of the point, but a little bit of flow through there and they managed to bring it. It's not a goal yet though, but it's close, and that's a goal. So quick flow. Brown were just a fraction slow getting their offense on as the hooter goes for the end of the game when this possession finishes, which means that the final score will be leftovers 8, Brown either 11 or 12, depending on whether they can put this away without turning over. So victory here will leave Brown, I don't know what it'll do, to be honest. It's a power pools game, 7-9, you tell me. And here we are for the last possession of the game. We've got Ola Tenney, Megan Pickles, Sam Bruce, Luke Wood, Fernley Everson representing the Brown first team. Fernley Everson collects, has a look. Luke was there in various varieties. Fernley didn't seem to like many of them, but in the end he gave it. So he squares it. There's calls of we need this point from the sideline, so presumably there's a points element to this. Luke Wood gives it to Fernley, who converts that, and there is that point that we apparently needed to make it Newcastle Brown 1-12, leftovers 8. I think Brown there had some good offensive flow. I think both sides turned it over a little bit more than they would have liked, but there was also really good defensive pressure going on. So some credit there. They managed to pull ahead with a gap of about 3 or 4 points in the sort of middle of the game, which was then closed up. But Brown managed to collect themselves and extend that gap again to finish with a 4-point lead. So Brown won. Be happy with that result. If you hang around and keep an eye on the channel, the next stream will start in just a few minutes because we will be playing, by we I mean Brown 2, over on that pitch over there. So tune back in a moment.